Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, it is so great to have you. I'm Antoinette, a New Zealander living in Germany. And I think it is about time for another parenting in Germany related video. I've had so many requests for another video like this. I have made a lot of these videos. I've got like a whole playlist. I'm going to link all of the videos in my description below if you're interested. This is a topic that is right up my alley because I have two beautiful children, Amelia who is 7, Matteo who is 3, who were both born and so far raised in Germany. So of course I love to talk about raising kids in Germany. I am a German culture geek and I have basically analysed everything to do with German parenting. I talk about the anti-helicopter parenting movement here in Germany. It's not really a movement, it's more of a way of life here. So if you're interested in hearing more about that, check out some of my other videos. Okay guys, so let's get into it. The first topic I want to talk about is pregnancy in Germany. This is a huge topic. Honestly, I could save this topic for a whole video. I am going to make a video about this, but I want to talk about an aspect of pregnancy in Germany, and that is how Germans react to pregnant women when they see them on the street and that kind of thing, because this was something that I found very surprising when I was first pregnant with my daughter in Germany. So in New Zealand, I've noticed that pregnancy is something that is really openly celebrated, and I've heard that it's very similar in other Anglo-Saxon countries like the United States, the UK, Australia, etc. And in Germany, pregnancy is something that is definitely celebrated, but not so openly. I feel like German women are a lot more private when it comes to pregnancy, and they don't talk about it as much, and strangers would not come up to you and say like, congratulations, when's your due date, but they probably would in New Zealand. So in New Zealand, it is totally normal and acceptable for a stranger, maybe somebody who is serving you in a shop or something like that, to comment on your baby bump. And they wouldn't comment if they weren't sure whether you're pregnant or not, but if you had an obvious big pregnant belly, they would ask you questions like, when's your baby due, and are you having a boy or a girl, and just sort of general sort of small talk related to pregnancy. New Zealanders just get so excited about pregnancy and they're really open about it and like to talk about it, and in Germany I feel like it's something very private. No one really comments on your baby bump. It's something super private. So, you know, you would talk about this with friends, but you wouldn't talk about it with strangers on the street, you know, in a shop or something like that. No one would really ask about your baby bump and when your baby's due, and I think it would be considered kind of rude in Germany, and so I found it a little bit unusual. I was expecting more people to maybe comment or something like that, but people don't. They're just a lot more reserved when it comes to this kind of thing. That was just my experience with being pregnant in Germany. Maybe you have had a totally different experience, but I just kind of feel like pregnancy is something more private and not openly talked about in Germany, unless it's with, you know, somebody in your close sort of private circles. Okay guys, so another thing that really surprised me about parenting in Germany is once my babies were born, once they were actually physically in the world, it's the complete opposite. Germans are so accommodating and just so helpful and sweet when you have small children. I feel like in general Germans just love kids, especially the older generation. Wherever I go with my kids, people are just so sweet. People are just so helpful and so lovely, helping me with my pushchair, bringing it onto the bus, taking it off, things like that. I've talked about how the lovely bus drivers here have given my kids chocolate and things like that. Also, when you go into shops and things like that, the shopkeepers are usually really friendly with the children, and they will give them something like a little bag of gummy bears or something like that, which is probably not really that good to be like handing your kids bonbons, sweets, lollies, but that's kind of like a thing in Germany. And whenever we go to the bakery, Matteo always expects like a little packet of gummy bears, and I just feel like older people here in Germany are just so lovely and so interested in your children. So when you're pregnant in Germany, it's something just really private and people don't ask you questions and things like that, but when your kids are actually physically in the world, Germans are just super helpful and sweet and lovely and patient with kids. So that's just something that I noticed, and it's something I love about raising my kids in Germany. I feel like in general Germany is a really kid friendly country. Okay, another thing that I have noticed about parenting in Germany, and I have talked about this briefly in another video, and that is in kindergarten, when my little girl was in kindergarten, I really felt like healthy eating, you know, and a healthy lifestyle is something really promoted early in Germany. And it's kind of ironic because I just talked about Germans in shops giving kids like little packets of gummy bears and things like that, but I really feel like in general children are educated about healthy eating quite early, and I think that's really, really great. At my little girl's kindergarten, she's at school now, but when she was at kindergarten there was a no junk food policy. I have talked about this, but I really have thought about it more, and I think it's a really great thing, a really, really great thing. And so a couple of times I actually got in trouble for what I put in my little girl's lunchbox. So I obviously didn't take this no junk food policy as serious as I probably should have, and at my little girl's kindergarten, I don't know if the kindergartens are like this all over Germany, but the kids aren't allowed anything sweet in their lunch, you know, no chocolate, no biscuits, cookies, things like that. They're just allowed, you know, like bread and like some kind of sandwich and fruit and things like that. But I actually made my little girl some muffins, and they were chocolate chip muffins, and I probably shouldn't have put them in her lunchbox, but I did. And because when I was growing up in New Zealand, my mum did lots of home baking, and I would always have something in my lunchbox that my mum had baked for me alongside other healthy food like fruit and, you know, like a sandwich or something like that. But mum would always have something baked for me, and I baked my little girl muffins, put them in her lunchbox at kindergarten, and the teacher told me off. Not really told me off, but just said, oh, we have a no junk food policy here at kindergarten. So I was like, okay, sorry, and I felt really silly and I felt really bad about it, but you know, you live, you learn. And there were a lot of sort of subjects in kindergarten related to food and how food is made and that kind of thing, and so the kids would go to a bakery on a field trip and learn how the bread is made from scratch and that kind of thing. And I also noticed there was like a huge emphasis on fruit and vegetables, and the kids like learnt all about, you know, the names of the fruit and vegetables. Okay guys, so another thing that really surprised me about parenting in Germany, this is something that I've only just sort of become aware of since Amelia has started school, and this is the way that the parent-teacher interviews are sort of structured in Germany. Let me explain. So Amelia had her very first parent-teacher interview where we had to go and talk about Amelia's like how she was doing at school and her progress and that kind of thing. Well, I thought it was going to be like that, but it was totally different to what I expected and what I was used to in New Zealand, like growing up in New Zealand. So what I imagined it would be like Rob and I going and talking to her teacher about how she was doing. I was thinking that Amelia wouldn't be coming at all, that she was going to have to go to her Oma and Opas while we were there, but it was just totally different to what I thought. Amelia was invited to come along too, and this sort of like parent-teacher interview thing was nothing to do with us. It was all to do with Amelia and her teacher. Maybe I just got this totally wrong. Like, I was under the impression that this was going to be a parent-teacher interview like we have in New Zealand, but it was actually between Amelia and her teacher. So Amelia sat down with her teacher, you know, we, you know, shook the teacher's hand and said hello and that kind of thing, but it was basically Rob and I watching Amelia and her teacher communicate with each other and talk about how Amelia was doing. So basically Amelia had to fill out a form herself without our help, and she had to tick how she thought she was doing in maths and reading and German and all of these kind of subjects. And you know, there was like, I think maybe 5 categories, and she had to say whether she thought she was doing really well or whether she needed help and that kind of thing. So basically Amelia and her teacher, they were kind of like comparing notes on how they thought she was doing at school. And so at first I thought this was super weird. I was like, what is going on here? Like, why is the teacher not talking to us? Why is she just talking to Amelia? But then I just sat back and listened, and I realized this is actually a really cool way of doing it. I actually really liked it. And so it was kind of like the teacher was talking to Amelia as an individual, as a really important little person. And I feel like Amelia felt really special, that this was all about her. And the teacher was so sweet and so patient and so lovely. And For the most part, Amelia, she's doing really well at school. She's doing so well. We're so proud of her. There was a few little things, you know, that she has to work on, like her concentration and that kind of thing. And so Amelia and her teacher, they sort of made a little plan together about how she can improve her concentration and like little steps she can take to get better and that kind of thing. And it was all done in a very sweet, very loving way. And I was super impressed. I thought it was so, so cool. And that's what I mean. I feel like Germans, they have a lot of respect for children. And so Amelia was taught to like almost like an adult, like a really important person, and I think she loved that. I feel like Amelia, she really felt that respect and she responded really well to it, so it went really well. It wasn't really a parent-teacher interview, it was a more like, you know, a kid-teacher interview kind of thing, and the parents just watched what was going on. I don't know whether it's like this all over Germany, but it's like this at my little girl's school, and I think it's really great, and I really liked it. It was something very new to me, but it's something I thought was really great. So let me know if you have a school-age child in Germany. Did you have to go to one of these sort of, I don't know what you call them, interviews between the child and their teacher? Let me know what you thought of it and whether you think it's a good thing. I think it really is. So anyway, I have come to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I always have so much to say about this topic, and there's definitely going to be like a part 5, 6, 7, 8. I never have enough to say about parenting in Germany and my experience as a mother here in Germany, as a foreign mother. It's a subject I really enjoy, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. I would love you to consider subscribing to my channel. I know that so many of you who watch my videos are not actually subscribed, so if you would subscribe, that would mean the world to me. Feel free to connect with me on Instagram, and I will see you again really soon. Bye!